Hello everybody, it is Sister Mary, or Mary. If you are coming over from Kimmy's channel, I want to say thank you to everybody who is coming over from my daughter Kimmy's channel. This is an off-grid homesteading, homemaking, cooking, everyday life kind of channel. I could probably have videos out every single day. It is that I think I tend to stay so busy that I forget about videoing. So I'm bringing you along. We're going to use what we've already got in our kitchen. So yesterday I made, what did I do with hamburger meat yesterday? Yesterday, spaghetti. So I have this leftover hamburger meat, and I'm going to say that this is about 1 pound of ground beef. So we're going to put it in our skillet right now. And I have already done all the hard work. Some of you may have seen the frying the cucumber video. And I was going to fry up some cucumbers again, but then I decided that I would just cut them up real small and put them in with our meat. Now I've got a second little small skillet over here, and I'm going to tell you what I did with that in just a minute. I'm going to make sure that our fryer is up right here. If you are noticing, I am using a little propane stove right here because I do cook on a Great Majestic wood stove, and I'll show you that. I cook on that, but I'm not able to do that right now because it is so hot. It is still, we're in August of 2024. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this little quick video that we're going to try to do. It may not be quick. It may be a good 30-40 minutes. But anyway, I'll get us situated here. Bear with me because I am not used to doing all of this behind the camera, but we're going to get started. All right, so we've got our hamburger meat. Of course, everything always tastes better, especially hamburger meat, any kind of meat, in my opinion, but definitely hamburger meat with onion. So we've already put our onion, we're going to put our onion in right now. Now I had some carrots that I needed to use up, and these are fresh carrots. And what I did was cut into very small cubes. Make sure that you can see that, very small cubes. And if you have been on YouTube anytime at all or watched a lot of cooking videos, they talk about how carrot is also a filler if you don't have quite enough meat. So we're going to be just fine with what we got going. So far I've got about 1 pound of ground beef. I've got at least 1 onion because it was two halves, but I'm sure it was 1 onion. And I have cut up about 4 carrots. So after that, I'm going to add, this is about 3 cubed potatoes. Same thing, very small. So I've used potatoes, I've used up some carrots that were going bad, and my hamburger meat. And this right here, this is my cucumber. Now some of you might be saying, ooh, cucumber in with your meat. Well, we have been eating fried cucumber. So instead of putting any egg on it or battering it this evening, I'm just going to go ahead and let it cook in with this hamburger meat and with the potatoes. It's going to, the grease from the meat is going to cook down everything in here. It's going to make it nice and tasty. All right, that's what I'm going to put in it for right now. Now I will put a little bit of seasoning, but what I've got is a can of diced tomatoes, and I have a can of manwich. So just use whatever you've got on hand, whatever floats your boat. All right. The other thing that I did that I'm going to go ahead and, after I stir this for a second, I'll tell you what else I got going. So I like one-pot meals, and I'm sure a lot of you like a one-pot meal too. It's all in there, and I feel real good that I got to use some of my veggies. All right, so right now we're going to look for what kind of seasoning do we want. And remember, we're using manwich, so we don't want to use too much seasoning, right? We don't want to use too much. So I am looking. We've already got onion in, so there's no reason to do that. I'm just going to put a little bit of soul food seasoning. We don't want much. And we'll be able to taste that later. But this is just soul food seasoning. So I poured it out in my hand so I could see how much I'm doing. I am a throw it in the pot and go. I call it eyeing. I eye a lot of stuff. So I've been married 38 years, almost. No, actually I've been married 38 years. I'll be 39 years in March. I have to keep up with all this. But after you've been cooking for a while, you kind of know what works and what don't work. And you can eat this over rice. You can put this right here over bread, or you can just eat it just as it is. So we're going to get this incorporated together. We're going to let that continue to cook. And I've got my small pan right here. Y'all see how small that is? It's just a real small pan. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with that. We got a lot of crunchiness in that meat right now. You know what would make this even better is if you had some bacon or some sausage. But we're going to let that ground beef continue to cook up. Make sure that the eye is pretty good. It's pretty high. All right, so right here I got my small pan, and I'll bring you over there in just a second. I'm going to use a little bit of butter because I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I took a yellow cake mix. Actually, it's a butter yellow cake mix. And I've got some bananas that were going bad. So this is just me. I like cake. I don't even have to have icing. I just like cake. So I am going to use this butter yellow cake mix. And I followed the directions on the back with the eggs. Sorry guys, that was an egg falling out of the box. And no, it was already done. It's already done up. No worries. It was just a shell. All right. So I took the butter yellow cake mix, and I have already got it ready. I've added the water, the egg. I put probably a tablespoon of vanilla in this, and also 3 mushy bananas, only using the good part, not the brown part. And I put a little bit of cinnamon in it. And I have stirred and stirred. And I'm going to do this because I don't have a regular oven. I'm going to put it right here on top of the stove, like a pancake, but it's going to taste the same. It's not a problem whatsoever. So, I've got a little bit of butter, and I'm going to start, whoa, let's move that up. We just don't want it to burn. So there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put one in. I really don't need my small spoon anymore. I'm going to use a ladle. And I'm going to go ahead, just like I would a pancake, and put it in there. And that will be cooking up at the same time that is cooking. So what are we doing? We're using what we got. And I don't know about you, but I don't like things going to waste, especially now, as much as everything costs. We do live on a homestead, so chickens, I have chickens, and nothing is going to go to waste. So I'm going to let you see a little bit of what's going on. Doesn't that look good? Any veggies at all that you've got, don't let things go to waste. Put them in some meat, and especially a ground meat. Go ahead and use it. And there's our little cake. That's a different way to fix cake, but if you like cake, you can have it just like that. Alright guys, I'm going to say that this meat and everything right there is going to have to cook for a good, what do you say, 30? At least 30 minutes. But this right here, your pancake stuff, that yellow cake mix, it's going to keep us busy for a few minutes. I hope everybody is doing well. This meat is starting to brown. And we're going to get our veggies down there. Keep turning everything. So it's cooking. Oh, it smells so good. How is your weather right now? Our weather has been topsy-turvy. And I do mean hot. And then looked like it was going to storm today. And a friend actually told me it stormed in her area, and she's only 30 minutes from me, and it did not storm here. It has not stormed yet. It could be that we'll get storms later. This is a hearty meal. I can tell you that right now. All right, our little cake right here is just about ready. Just like a pancake, you start to see those little air bubbles. Go ahead and get that spatula underneath and get ready to turn it. There you have the first one, almost done. So pretty easy peasy. Just put it in the pan and let it go. The most time that I had invested so far has been all of the chopping up and the cutting up, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be good. With anything that is worth doing, my mother used to say, do things that are worth doing. Don't just do something to be doing something. Put a little thought into it, put a little effort into it, and you will be amazed at your results. Just by putting a little bit more thought. If you haven't seen that fried cucumber video, go and watch that. It reminded me of fried green tomatoes. We are still getting vegetables out of the garden right now. We've got cucumber coming out almost every single day. And these carrots came from a friend, but there you go. And they are cooking up today. I had these potatoes that needed to be used. And of course, keeping an onion on hand is always good. An onion brings all kinds of flavor to your food. I'm going to go ahead and get a plate and get ready to get this first yellow butter banana. You can call it a pancake, whatever you want to, but that's going to be my dessert. Y'all like everything old. I like everything old. I guess it would be called a classic. Let me show you this again if you've never seen it. But my grandmother had these. And I also know that Sister Janet, who listens to our ministry channel, she also has some of these dishes. If you would like to follow us on our ministry channel, you can go to God's Handmaiden or Lighting the Way. Those are two different channels for you. God's Handmaiden has been around since 2015. There's a lot of prophetic messages on there. And Lighting the Way every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so we'll be on in just a bit. Usually around 5 o'clock, we are coming on. John, which is my husband, he brings us a study in the Word, and at 6 o'clock I come on. And we pray, and we share praise reports and prayer requests. And there you go. There's the first one. I'll let you know what it tastes like in just a minute, but I know it's going to be good. Everything's always good when it's made with love. I'm going to turn this one down just a little bit. And we're going to do another. You know what would be good on these? Powdered sugar. Powdered sugar. That's how I think. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. It is harder for smaller YouTube channels to get off the ground, so to speak. Without viewers, we have to have so many watch hours for YouTube to keep putting your channel out there. So it doesn't cost you anything, and it means a lot to those that you are watching. I wish I could tell you. I wish you had smell-o-vision. I know you don't, but it smells so good. Can you smell it? It smells so good. I keep stirring it around. Look at here. An escaped carrot. I saved the day. I saved the carrot from not being on my floor, right? You know, I just want to give you a little talk here. The times that we are living in. Isn't it wonderful to make the most of every day? Be encouraged to make the most of every day. You know, it's all about each other. It's not about ourselves. It's about how are we making somebody else's life better. That's the true love of Jesus. All right. It may be that you don't get to see, we'll see, if we can stay here together and we get the final result. And I'm thinking, have I almost turned this one down too much? But I'm starting to see the bubbles now. And it may be that I have to get a lid and put over this to help it keep cooking down. But we'll give it a little bit. We won't rush it. Anything good cannot be rushed, right? Well, I think I lost a potato, but I'm not going to be able to get that. Yep, I'll get it later. Let's go ahead and get a little taste. There's our yellow butter cake with our banana. Oh my. It's like banana bread. Y'all, I like butter. So forget the powdered sugar. I just want to keep it warm and put some butter on it. And you know what else? Off-grid is like making do with what you got too. Just like the food. Cooking becomes make do with what you got. Use what you got. As much as I want to finish that, I can't. I won't have any room for dinner. When I was growing up, my mom made a cake. A cake every week. How many of y'all still have cake pans? Now I came from grandmother that also did that. And a great-grandmother that in the kitchen there was always a pie or a cake. And if you'll go back to the good old days, if you can reminisce with me, I know everybody watching, you're probably younger and you didn't have this experience. But I grew up with a mom that was home and gardened and sewed our clothes, and had ladies over. They would have their coffee together in the mornings. They would talk to each other. They would help each other can. And my grandparents were the same way. It was a homestead, so not only did my great grandmother live there because it was the homestead, but an adult daughter and her husband and whatever children were still in the house. And so when grandkids came, which was me, let me tell you, it would be my great grandmother that would, and my grandmother, but mostly my great grandmother. She would always be up about 4:30 in the morning. Now we didn't get up that early, no, but she would get up and she would go to bed around 8 o'clock. But her day consisted of taking care of animals and doing all the cooking. And let me tell you, she would be in the kitchen for a great part of her day. But once she started cooking, she would be cooking. She might get to sit, she would sit down a little bit and go take care of animals after she got breakfast done. But that breakfast, whatever was left over, and believe me, it was sausage, it was toast, it was biscuits, it was bacon, it was eggs. This is every single morning she cooked like this. And whatever was left over, she would put it in the plates, whatever she had it in, and she would take a hand towel or a cheesecloth, and she would lay it over that food. And all day long, you could come back into the kitchen, even if she was cooking and making and doing something else. She didn't mind you reaching your hand underneath that cheesecloth or that towel and grabbing yourself a biscuit or grabbing yourself a piece of bacon or whatever was left over. And we would run on outside. We would still be playing. So we didn't stay in the house growing up. If it was summertime, we had 2 pairs of shoes, a school pair and a church pair. And believe me, I'd say about 80% of the time we were running around outside in the gravel, in the dirt, in the sand, barefooted. And we had such a wonderful childhood memory. But when she would be cooking cakes, pies, whatever, we could go in and we could watch her for just a few minutes. And then she would want us, to get out of her way. But I grew up with cake and pies. That just be a normal thing in your house to eat. Actually, like every day. Because if you ate all the cake or we ate all the cake, she would make sure that she made another one. So not only did we have biscuits every morning, but we had cornbread almost every night. The world would be a better place if we were back there. I'm probably going to get about, I'd say, probably 10 of these little pancake-looking whatever out of this, out of the cake mix, but that's going to be all right. I don't know if you're able to see, but all of this is cooking down in the pot. It is cooking down. And you can feel the texture of the vegetables with your wooden spoon, spatula, whatever you want to call it. My wooden spatula here. And everybody coming to the channel, or if you've been here for a little while, you already know, we live in Tennessee. And we are off-grid. I'm going to try to get a little scoop for you so you can see the chunkiness. I'm going to let that hamburger meat continue to cook down just a little bit more. And the potatoes, I don't want to put my manwich sauce in too early, or the stewed tomatoes, because they just need warming up. So, and we want to get this down to a mush. We want it to be soft. I don't want no crunchy vegetables unless they are raw. How many of you have planted gardens this summer? I'm actually considering putting together what fall things we can do. I have a friend, not had, but she had the green stalks, and she's still ordering some. But I'm going to try to plant some winter items in those green stalks, and I'll bring you along for that. This is going to be one of those meals that needs to cook for about 30-40 minutes for sure. There's our third one, almost done. I had turned that eye down a little bit. We're just going to leave it that low. I see it. I'm going to just bump it up a hair, but not much more. Tell me what kind of recipes you find yourself throwing together out of leftover, especially your summer veggies that are in, and you know that you've got to use them up or they'll go bad. Give me some ideas in the comments below. And we might fix that right here on Homesteading Haven. Well, you did see how small I cubed the cucumber. I did take all of the seeds out. So I did not use any of the seeds in the... I guess I was thinking, you know, cook it just like you would zucchini. So I did peel just a little bit. You can still see a little bit of green on there. But I did core it. And yep, I just tasted it. It's good. Is that not the best part of being in the kitchen? Is being able to taste test. Kind of makes sense growing up that my mom and my grandmother, they were not always hungry when they got to the table. And it's because they were doing the cooking. How about that? They were doing all the work, so they were sampling, making sure it wasn't going to hurt nobody. Y'all know what I mean? Those old movies that say, oh, let me take a drink to make sure that it's not poisonous. Or let me take a bite to make sure it's not going to hurt you. All right. We're going to get ready to go ahead and start adding some of our sauces because let me try a potato to see how close we are. We're getting there. I'm going to try a cucumber. I'm sorry. I'm going to try a carrot. I just tried a cucumber. And a potato. Oh yeah. We're getting there. Time to take this one up. I'm just using a little butter for my oil. Not too much, just enough. It's a non-stick anyway, so just enough to give it a little flavor on the bottom and also not stick. And I am using a whole ladle. I'm not going to drain off any of the juices. I'm going to go ahead and put those diced tomatoes in there. We'll give them a stir. If there's something in here you don't like, then leave it out. If there's another idea you have, add it. We're going to go ahead and put our manwich sauce in it. So the extra juice from the manwich sauce and the tomatoes is going to help it cook on down like I want it. And I will do a taste test and see what kind of sauces or see what kind of seasoning I need to continue to put in it. If you hear that little tick, tick, tick that's coming in, it's our dog Evie. We have had Evie for about 14 years. And believe me, she knows I'm in the kitchen cooking because she has a good smeller. She's gotten to the age that we put the dog food in her bowl, but she doesn't always eat it. She wants what you're eating. And because we've taken her to the vet, and the vet says just make her comfortable, love on her. She's not in any kind of pain or anything, but she is old, and sometimes it's like she doesn't hear you, and sometimes she doesn't see you. You'll walk right up on her. All right, that almost filled our pan to the brim. Just about ready to turn our next little pancake of our cake. You know, noodles would probably be okay. To put this over noodles. Put this over rice. Put this over bread even. Or, I was about to say use it as a soup and crackers, but no. Yeah, I mean, it is thick like that. It is thick. I have turned it up a little bit more. It is really starting to boil, and that's what we need. I'm going to go ahead and get a little spoon and try to see what other kind of seasoning that needs. Trying to get a bite of all the vegetables. It is very good, just the way it is. But I know us, so I'm going to season it up a little bit more. It's almost done, everybody. This is definitely a meal that you're not going to be able to rush. It's like eating a hearty meatloaf, but not as meaty. You can tell that you're eating your veggies in there. But it's that thick and that wholesome. It's good. Well worth putting everything in there together. I don't want them veggies outside on that spatula. All right. So go ahead. What is this, our fourth or fifth one? You know what I think homemaking is? Thinking ahead. Homemaking is thinking ahead. All right, everybody. I'm going to let you go. Until next time. This, I guess I can give you a little peek. But I would say let that cook for at least the 30-40 minutes. It would probably already be done if I had put a lid over the top, but because I was doing a video, I wanted you to be able to see everything happening. All right. Remember, when you love the Lord Jesus, greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. We'll see you next time, right here on Homesteading Haven. God bless you and keep you is always my prayer.